All right, all right, all right. What is up? What's happening, cuz?
What's happening? How you doing today? How you doing?
Good, man. I love it. I love getting settled. I see the new backdrop behind you there. We got the amazing shoe collection.
The shoe collection. My wife is not a fan of my shoe collection at all. So they made it into the office.
Those Jordans right over your left shoulder there, man. Those were some of my favorite. I rocked those for a while. For
Me
sure.
too.
Good stuff, man. Is there any particular shoe on your radar that you're looking to try to acquire to the collection?
Man, not really, not necessarily. I picked up a couple. What did I pick up though? Those green ones up here. Those are my newest edition. I kind of like those. The Dunks are kind of coming back a little bit, and those are some of my favorite ones anyway. But yeah, nothing really, man. I think I got most of what I was hunting for.
Gotcha. Miko, what up? Man, some good times, good things happening for sure. I know the market for most is extremely interesting. Oh, you got both of them.
Yeah. in between school, they're still doing school at. You are at home. That's what I was gonna say. You're still doing school at home.
I'm not doing it now. I'm finished.
You're finished for the day?
Yeah.
All right, man. Good deal. All right, man. Get out of here.
It's so cool, man. Just listening, how much, things have changed over the last, 12 months and used to before, right? It's like, oh no, the kids, right? No, the dogs.
Right. Right.
I was like,
just bring them on the show.
Yeah. It gives that human touch. Vern recommended Humanocracy as his number one book for 2020. So, anything Vern talks about, have to dive into. And man, I'm just at the beginning of it, and it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it really gets into it. And then he also recommended, Marquette, Turn the Ship Around.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote one called Leadership is Language. And so listening to both of those, really similar. And then if you listen to the first chapter of Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0,
right.
the missing, so there's two missing chapters. He had two new chapters into 2.0. And when he was talking to Steve Jobs, and he said, hey man, give me some feedback on Beyond Entrepreneurship. What was missing? And he said the number one thing was missing was people. You didn't talk about people. And so that's why Collins added the very first chapter now is about people and why people are so important.
Right.
And it's just a combination, listening to that. And then you got Dan Sullivan, Who Not How. And it's the whole people component that, and you're listening to Gary a lot here lately, and he's like, human to human, and it's not business to business or business to consumer. It's people. And just kind of what we were talking about before we went live. And one of the things that we embraced early on, in that transition when we broke away from Caldwell and went independent, and our whole main kind of philosophy was lifetime value.
Right.
And really not in for the instant, the transaction or, hey, you sold, give me something in return, take type mentality, but how can we truly just add value to the people that we have the opportunity to work with? And so for all of you guys listening in, we were just kind of chatting about, we've got our mastermind event coming up in St. Thomas in September. And obviously we're a little bummed. We used to do 3 a year, and then we got down to 2 a year, and then obviously nothing last year. And we're excited that we're going to get back together with that room. And I was just mentioning to Cuz, I don't like to kind of force a theme on the room. They usually kind of organically a theme comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think there's so much value in bringing speakers and people in the room that come from that abundance giver mentality. And we just can't hear that enough. And so really looking forward to that. And just really, man, excited about this year.
It is going to be a great year. I'm super stoked.
Cuz, what you got? What's good, man? Give kind of what's on your radar? What have you been thinking about?
Man, it's been, in all honesty, it's been getting settled. Just moving to Puerto Rico was there's a lot, lot to get dialed in here. I think I've got my list pretty well handled now. I've learned you just do one thing a day, and that's how you chip away at everything in Puerto Rico. You don't try to do too much. But no, man, it's good. Mike and I get to go on a walk every day around the loop, kind of around this whole little area here. And it's just it's a day of reflecting every day. And this morning, Mike said something that just really kind of stuck out. I guess stuck out a little bit, but he was just talking about, some people just don't get it. And I don't know, like, you never know what Mike's thinking over there, and, we're walking and he's got his dog with him and everything. And so some people just don't get it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, man, they don't know how to lead. They can't even lead themselves, much less lead someone else. And I was like, man, I know exactly what you mean. And, it's in order for you to really lead others, you gotta learn to lead yourself first. And it was just an aha, and I started reflecting, and he was probably reflecting on conversations he had recently. And then I started reflecting on people that I had talked to recently, and the people that get it and the people that are having the most success, they're efficient with their time. They don't, that's all you got is your time on a daily basis. Like what's the turning point for most people in success in real estate is when you finally decide to lead yourself and start to pay attention to how efficient you are with your time that you have in a day. And that's, it was just something that he said just randomly during the walk, but we're always kind of reflecting on things and this and the other. And that was just something that came up in conversation. And I don't think you can ever understate the value and importance of having a plan, planning your week, planning your day, even though you're going to get thrown off, just having the awareness of here's where I'm trying to get to, and here's how I'm going to try to do it today. And here's the priorities, and here's what I'm going to do, write things in the right order. If all goes well, it's that activity daily over the course of time that drives your success and the results that you get. And so many people just overlook it and just blindly do whatever the hell comes up and don't have any real intention into what's driving the success that they're having or not having. And that was just something that was just something that was fresh to me just from this morning's walk.
Yeah. And it really is powerful. And it's exciting to hear, Mr. Reese share that. And, I did a really, if you guys, if that kind of resonates, you're listening in, I did the last coffee and coaching episode, spoke to that exact message right there. Definitely worth checking out if that's something that's resonating with you. And cause I mean, we've seen tens of thousands of real estate agents over the years. And to me, it really kind of distills down to them wanting to be right instead of trying to get to right. And, protecting it. And so that's where the ego comes in. Right. And instead of them, looking up to what are all the ways. And it's still my favorite shirt of 2020, which is Chuck Fazio's # It's Just Math, because that's really what that's all business is. Right. And this is real estate. It's business, and it's just math. Right.
Yep. Just math. No doubt about it.
Vern, we mentioned Vern Harnish, for those just throwing names out there, but we've had the opportunity to study and work with Vern for quite some time. And, his number one book recommendation is called The Goal by Eli Goldratt. And it's on the theory of constraints, but what they talk about is that there's only one real goal in business, and that's to make a profit. And, obviously what you do with that profit and the impact is obviously a different story, but business is just math. And I think a lot of people confuse that. And cause we know this with agents, I mean, they're just so short-sighted, especially this time of the year. Right. I mean, there's a lot of agents that they're not thinking about nothing but their next commission check. And so they're not thinking through the end of the year. They're not thinking 3 years. They're not thinking, 2030, they're thinking, holy shit, how am I going to get, what do I got to do to beg, borrow, and steal to cover, my bills for this month? And, that definitely paralyzes their activity to getting through that.
Yep, 100%.
So kind of speaking to that, and we're live in a couple of groups here for a couple different reasons, but one of the new groups that we're back into is our NAEA members only group, and it's kind of dusted that off a little bit, and we've really made a recommitment to narrowing things down on our end, because we can hit you from many different brands and angles. So,
right.
One of the commitments is definitely the resurgent of really pushing NAEA and what NAEA has stood for and really been all about. And it's the last 20 plus years of blood, sweat, and tears and pouring into the industry, and just the constant pursuit of a better way. And Jay, I know you had made a couple comments. We do a lot of really great training, business development, high level strategic thinking, things that really, all the tools you need, but also what NAEA has done really good at is giving the tools to be a better agent, right? From conversion, presentation, paperwork. And so we're going to be rolling out some new training calls like we used to do back in the day. We've made a commitment weekly, one to focus on prospecting, one call to focus on presentation, one call to focus on paperwork, and one call for just open Q&A. So look for those calls to start in February, first Thursday in February. Those will be rolling out. So every Thursday, Thursday 3. So we'll have those rolling out your way. We'll obviously be dropping them for sure in the NAEA group. So if you're not a member of NAEA, I know there's some honey badgers and some fast forward movement tribe listening in, and you guys are NAEA members. So that content is available for you. And we just knew it was a consistent piece that's missing that we want to get out there for those agents that are right now thinking about their next commission check. And we would just want a place for them to land, to be able to get in and just, we know we can help. And I think that goes back to the conversation, because that we were saying a little bit earlier, was coming from a place of value, contribution. We know we can help. So like, we would be doing a disservice by not doing that. So just wanted to share that with everybody.
Love it. Heck yeah. Very cool.
Hey, I had a little nugget. Hey, for all of you guys listening, if you have any questions, throw them in here. I mean, if not, we'll be talking about boats and the island.
Right. Yeah. So, this can be the content can be as good as you help us make it. Asking great questions.
So,
or you can just learn what we're up to.
Yeah, man. What was your takeaway from Connor and Dustin?
Humble. I mean, yeah, I think, first of all, I think strategy, the strategy is what made that fight what it was. Dustin Poirier destroyed his leg, and he'd never had calf kicks dealt with him at that level before. So yeah, what a strategy. I mean, it was incredible to watch, because he went from being just pinpoint, it's just a few degrees difference, right? Like he wasn't quite as sharp. He wasn't connected like he usually is, just picking people apart. But it was that front leg, just a little bit less efficient, made his accuracy just a little bit off. Just a split second is all it took, and that's what it took to overcome the fight and Poirier to knock him out, which he's never been knocked out before. So it's incredible, the strategy that goes into it, and then just the math behind it, because I think that's what it really boils down to, is they understand when you compromise someone's leg that their response time is going to be less, their ability to their timing off. It just is fascinating to me that that they're that close of fighters, that one little thing was the strategy that made all the difference. I mean, anybody can get caught on any given night, but it just seemed to me like they had the right game plan. And Connor was humble about it. I think that was another thing that was just good to see, that, he got humbled a little bit. And so it's either you get back up and you want it, or you say, all right, I'm done. Because he don't have to fight if you don't want to. But
no, we don't.
But yeah, it was good, man. I thought it was a great fight.
Man, me too. And a couple things. It's what McGregor did to Diaz, to take Diaz's power away when he was fighting, when Diaz was heavier. Right. Same thing. What was that fight number 2? Diaz, the second fight. He did the same thing to Diaz. I was like, oh my gosh, he nailed it. And Connor was shocked that he added that to his arsenal. So he gave him credit for that. So that was cool. I think too, being in the game consistently was to Dustin's advantage, with Connor being out of the game for so long. You know what I mean? So repetition, man, right? Yep. Actual fight time. And Connor made a couple comments about that too, right? He was like, man, I just 40 seconds in how many years of actual fighting? Right. You ain't gonna be at your best. So we'll see, man. I hope he comes back, man. I hope he does what he says he wants to do and fight, multiple times over the next year and a half. Yep. He is a draw for sure. So that was cool. That's kind of what I saw. But he did take his soul. You could just see it in Connor's eyes. Dustin got him. So well deserved. Well deserved. Man, here's a little nugget. I shared this. So this was a nugget shared to me. And I kind of relayed it to the Fosters this morning. We were talking about it. And we were talking about buyers in this market, and how we've always used the absorption kind of breakdown on the market absorption analysis to say, hey, if we've got inventory 0 to 2, we can position your home about 10% above the market. And then 2 to 4, 2 to 5, we can be about 5% aggressive. Balanced market, we're going to be balanced. Oversupply, we need to be about 5% under. And then if we're really oversupplied, we need to be 10. Well, I had never thought about it from the buyer's side. Right. So the thing is unless you have actual cash, right? So think about this. You qualify for 400K. Well, you ain't buying 400K in this market unless you got 400K cash. And maybe you probably need 410, 415, 420 in this market. Right. Right. So the same principle applies. There's no inventory, less than 2 months. Then we need to drop your search parameters 10% below of what you qualify for. That's your market. Right. And that's being an expert advisor, right? Yep. That's like educating the client instead of letting the client dictate the search. You're like, no, let's look at your financial situation. Yeah, you qualify for 400, but you ain't buying 400 in this market. Right. Let's drop 10% to the ceiling, which would put us at 360 is the top of your search parameters. And I was like, I don't know why that never clicked, but when I heard that, I was like, oh my, that's brilliant. That's just because that's educating them and being able to get them into a market to where they need to be buying in. It's not what they qualify for. It's what they can, buy.
That's exactly right. It's a great distinction for sure. No doubt.
Dude, I never flipped it on that side before. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So little nugget there for all of you guys especially working with buyers and educating them and understanding how their search criteria is different in this market when there's no inventory. So keep that in mind. All right. So as a part-time realtor, what should I be focusing on for a daily task for the best productivity?
Yeah. So I keep forgetting. I'm going to go off the mic here. With some flexibility. So as a part-time agent, the first thing is I love real estate. I'm going to preface this so everybody understands where I'm coming from. There's no other business that I know of where you can invest a few $100 and make 10,000. So I don't know what it is, and you may love the job that you have, but it's dollar per hour, you're never going to create wealth getting paid by the hour to do some job for someone else. And so the goal that I would have would be is how much do I need to be making? Where do I need to get to in order to be able to walk out of here and quit this job so I can do this full time. That would be the first place that I would start. That's where I'm trying to get to. Then the next piece of that is, have you been properly trained? In my opinion, is this is where NAEA really shines. Is do you have a value proposition? Do you know how to articulate that? And if you talk to 10 people, how many of those can you convert to an actual appointment? That's where your productivity is going to come from, is conversations. And you can prospect, you can lead generate, invest money into leads, and still you're going to have to call those leads. That's still prospecting, but it's going to be conversations. Like you're either having conversations with people or you're not. There's nothing really else in real estate you do except for show houses and list houses that's going to make you more money than prospecting. And so it's conversations per day. I mean, it's a proven fact, and it drives the productivity. So yeah, that's where I would be focused, whether it's, on the listing side, I'm trying to learn the skills. I either have the skills and I know what to say on a listing appointment. I'm working FSBOs, expireds. That's the lowest hanging fruit, no cost lead generation strategy, Red X, and what's some of the other ones that are out there, Red X and, what is it? I can't remember. It starts with a V.
You got Vulcan.
Yeah.
There's a handful of data sources.
Preference out of all those, but there's that's it's that, and then it's learning marketing. I was actually watching Mike's presentation just over the years, like of understanding marketing, like that's where the opportunity really is in this business, is learning the skill set of how to run an ad and get somebody to inquire. And it's such a wide open market. There's so much opportunity to lead generate. Learning that skill and being around people that can help you with that, if not, that's the biggest opportunity there is in real estate. You can have, referrals and a sphere of influence and all that stuff, but it's not predictable. In order to have a predictable business that goes up every single year, you got to learn how to acquire customers through marketing. And so those are that's where anything else that you're doing is probably not the highest dollar value work that you could be doing.
Man, you nailed it. And I was introduced, and then just funny how it all unfolds, right? So had a client recommend Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer. And lo and behold, guess who Nick Nanton has on his podcast at the beginning of December? Marcus Sheridan. And so you can check out, I'll in the feeds here, I'll post a link to Nick's YouTube conversation with Marcus. If you want to get the book, it's They Ask You Answer. Get the revised and updated version, but you can listen to the interview with Nick. Nick is one of the greatest. He's one of the best storytellers on the planet, and probably one of the most connected human beings on the planet. And he has Marcus on his show. And what Marcus talks about, and right out of the book, he gives this statistic. He said, in the book, 70% of consumers have already consumed, know about you, have done their research, know what your service and product and reputation are before they even have a conversation with you. He said 10 years ago, it was about 40%. On the show with Nick, he said the statistic now is 80% of consumers have consumed content that is answering their questions, and they know about you and your service and what you can possibly bring to the table and your offer and what you can deliver before they have a conversation with you. Now, I know you diehard salespeople out there are going to fight me on this, but what do you think is the most important skill to develop? You better know how to market. You better know how to create content. You better know how to be consistent with your message to the market that's joining the conversation that's going on in the consumer's head. And what Marcus found out was, because he's a pool guy, is that he created content for every question that they would get on the sales floor. And so he knew, he was excited if he got a question, he knew that he had a new piece of content he got to create. And it's fascinating. And so I can't tell you guys enough to dive into there. The data is, the data is the data, right? You gotta pay attention to the data. You got to pay attention to where things are, where what it's telling us. I had GoGo on. I had her annual state of social media at the beginning of the year for expert mentors, and she talked about a lot of things, a lot of really good things. So if you guys go back and watch that episode with her, but that's what she said. She goes, I don't try to guess on anything. I just look at the data. When do I post? When the data tells me to post.
Right.
What content do I create? What the data tells me to create. And hearing that from somebody like her, you better pay attention, right? She's definitely doing some things right. So, man, guys, Jay broke it down, and the data supports it. The skill set to develop is becoming, and it's something that NAEA has screamed from the front of the stage, the back of the room, in every conversation. The best marketer wins.
Yep, hands down. It's not the best real estate agent. It's not the one who's best at unlocking doors. It's not the one who's the fastest at getting from point A to point B in the car. It's the agent who's the best marketer, hands down.
Oh man, yeah. And sorry, we can't. There's some here in the StreamYard platform. If you don't give StreamYard permission, we can't see the name. So just kind of sharing one of those moments. An offer on behalf of a client, asking price 190, offer 205. We were in Columbus a couple weeks ago, and Joel, Stacek Group, they push hard, everything video. And when they have a conversation with the client, they immediately, the next step in the process is shoot a quick video, personalized video, and send it to them, doing things that don't scale, right? But that's part of the process. And he was just talking about the Dear Seller, not the letter, but it's a Dear Seller video. And he shared a couple examples that were really powerful, coming from the sellers, and you get to hear their voice. You get to hear, see the kids and create that emotion. It doesn't always work, but it's just another piece of the component that strengthens the offer. Obviously the math has to be close, but if the math is close, and then you can make an emotional connection, right? So the emotional side of it. So little nugget there. I know our man Nick Good's listening in, and definitely they do a lot of fantastic things like that to help them win as well.
Yep. Beast mode.
Yes, sir.
Good home team.
Man, we got a lot of amazing people tuning in. Hey, Leslie. So reach out to, just message Joel Hollow. He is business partners with Al Stacek, and they have the Stacek Group in the land of the 216. And Joel is a tremendous giver. He's actually one of our coaches at NAEA. And if you just message him, he will love to share right there. My client got her house because of Dear Seller video. Video is powerful. You get to see the emotion. Cause what else is good, man? What's the favorite thing on the island? That's what I want to know.
Man, so first of all, Puerto Rico is beautiful. It's every single day. It's like the thermostat's stuck on like 75 to 77. It's just like it's unreal. It's that temperature when you walk outside. You're like, oh, this is what I would describe as the perfect temperature right here. It's like that every day. And so, honestly, first of all, just like with my Fitbit, just tracking the level of things that we do outside. So like me and the kids, I got on the one wheel. If you haven't seen the one wheel, by the way, everybody should go look up one wheel. Okay.
Right.
It's fun. It's a blast. I freaking love it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's kind of probably a little bit like skateboarding. I could never skateboard, so I can't imagine it being like skateboarding. But it has a little bit of that feel. But it's a lot like
I had 4 wheels. I had 4 wheels on that board.
Yeah. This is one big wheel. Anyways, the one wheel's a blast. And so the kids always want to go ride bikes, and everything's golf cart paths here, so it's safe to go anywhere. And so, there's a lot of choices here. The amenities here are crazy. I've never lived in any place like it. It's a resort. It's a freaking resort. I mean, it's a rich resort on top of that, but there's about 6 different things that you could say, hey, let's go to do this, right? So we got a water park, legit water park with big slides that you can fly.
Kids are in heaven.
So that's one thing. The airport. So the airport here in Dorado is the last airport that Amelia Earhart was flown out of.
Yeah.
When she went missing is just a block from here, and they built. They have the big tower and stuff is also there, and they they made it. It's got volleyball courts and a swing that goes across the water and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's just there's something to do. There's 10 things you could choose to do. You go to the Ritz and swim at the pool, swim at the beach there. Go to the bigger part of the beach. The windsurfing is ridiculous here. I can't wait to try that. It looks like a blast. But there's people windsurfing every day. Golf here, and then there's this big trail that goes around the whole thing. But my steps are up almost double on average. I think I'm averaging 22,000 steps a day, just being more active. The kids are outside a lot more. They're not tied to their iPads all day. It's a freaking amazing place, man. I mean, I'm blessed to be here. That's for sure. Never would have figured in a million years that I've moved to Puerto Rico, but here.
Oh, it's so exciting! I'm still just.
And I didn't even get to the best part yet, which is the ocean. Getting out on the ocean and going to the beaches and stuff like that. So we got to do a little bit of that. We hired a captain and. It was not a take the family trip. It was a, hey, bat down on your mouthpiece and let's go as far as we can, no matter what the weather's like. And just got beat to death, but we got out to the islands, could see St. Thomas. It's so doable. Just trying to figure out the right move. Do you buy $1 million boat, or do you just budget for the days that you want to go go out on the boat? And I have not convinced myself that buying a boat is the right decision, even though I really want to buy a boat.
Right.
But yeah, that's where I'm at in the process. Anyways, you can get a captain and someone else's boat, someone else's problems. You know what I'm saying? pretty cheap. 100%. What got me was I was looking at this one boat was it's 1.1 million. It's a 64-foot azimuth. It's beautiful boat. And if anybody follows me on Instagram knows, because we found the boat out. It was out at the where we went and tied up. It was there, and then there was another one just like it in the marina, amazingly. But But in the description, it explains that the seller had spent $350,000 on the boat in the last year, and I was like, I don't even know how you could spend $350,000 in maintenance in 1 year. But something tells me I don't need that boat. If that's possible, then I probably just don't need that boat.
Oh no!
There's a whole other level there. It's treated with an open checkbook. I know what that's like.
Oh no!
They probably must have replaced everything on that boat, hopefully. But yeah, so I don't know the inside yet.
Hey, you gotta check out this. So if you're thinking about this windsurfing or getting out there doing anything. I'm coaching Tom Daves and having the opportunity to coach Don Yoakum as well. And, Don is into wing foiling.
Wing foiling.
What the hell is wing foiling? And wing foiling is riding a surfboard with a foil levitating you, powered by a sail or a wing.
Yep, they do that here.
Fascinating.
Yep, they do that here. Yep, that's the other thing. Windsurfing and that. I didn't know what it was called, but yeah, they do that here.
Yeah, wing foiling. So I was like,
check that out next too.
Yeah, does look interesting. What's up, my man?
Say what's up.
What's up?
I hear. Uncle Albie has something for you.
Yeah, every time. Reese, what do you think of Puerto Rico?
Good.
Well, you good? What do you like about it?
I like everything.
Like everything? Oh, that's awesome.
Fighting stuff.
Kinley Bear.
Wing foiling is awesome. I'm gonna have to try that out for sure. It does look awesome for sure.
If you can get through it, I can check up.
Oh man.
No, it didn't hurt. Stop.
Well, awesome. So appreciate you guys tuning in maybe for the first time with our Power Hour. This is something Jay and I do every other Tuesday at what is it? 11 Central. So that's what, 2 o'clock your time, 1 o'clock your time.
Yep.
12 o'clock Eastern. And then just kind of backing it down there to get out to Pacific time. So man, get it on the calendar. If you're seeing it in this group, and then also, take advantage of it. I mean, we love the questions. Definitely helps the episode and the conversation go. And that's really what we do this for, here to add to add value, help you guys get unstuck in either in your business or in your thinking, and love to keep this rolling for you. So
yes sir.
All right, cuz. Well, I appreciate you jumping in and go wrestle with those kiddos.
All right, quit. That's what happens when they still here in Puerto Rico. The kids are working from home, school from home, and then if somebody's not watching them, then they get done early somehow. I don't know what's happening. But.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Peace.
Rocking. We'll see you guys next time.